Something bad happened near Death Valley, at a place called the Divide.
Hello. This is the second episode of a series documenting my attempt to bike from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C., visiting different spots in the Fallout setting. The first one saw me escaping California and passing through Death Valley. I reached an emotional low point before arriving in the city of Las Vegas, where I'd recover and begin my journey exploring southern Nevada. Breakfast. I think that's Black Mountain over there. Yeah, we're on the edge of town, and we're gonna be following this boulevard all the way to Jean. I wonder how they say it. It's a very small town, so I doubt there'll be anybody I can ask. But once you get to Jean, you go over or under, I'm not sure, the I-15, and then you can go up the hill to Good Springs. On the other side of all that is the quarry that Sloan is based on. I mean, it's named Sloan, so you know. Honestly, the GoPro doesn't really capture the scale of it, but I am very impressively feeling like I am in a place that I've been before, but I've never been here. Like, everything just looks right. I spent the last mile trying to figure out what I was looking at. There's a rumble strip. Weird bit of like pseudo-civilization that we're coming into. There's part of me that's worried that I missed my turn somewhere. I'm not sure where the turn would have been. We haven't passed like a skydiving place yet. And I don't remember there being like a big building in Jean. But I suppose anything's possible. Also, there's like a weird glowing thing off in the distance. I don't know if someone set up a mirror, but it looks like it's a divine being or some kind of glitch. I've noticed like video game-esque glitches the further in I get, which is weird because my life is not like a video game. My life is not like a video game at all. There is no game that's like this. I think I see Good Springs. I'm not sure though, but I think it is. Always a good thing to see, for sure. So I realized that a local gas station chain has a casino, but even better, it's a closed casino. I'm gonna do a little urban exploration. Man, this asphalt's rough. It's gotta have been closed for years. I had no clue this place existed. Oh, look. There's like a little solar-powered security thing that flashes lights at you. It has cameras on it. Let me just ride up to it. Don't worry, I'm just sightseeing. I'm not a copper wire thief. I don't have anywhere to put stolen stuff anyways. Man. This place has been stripped. I mean, I'm having a hard time even visualizing what this place was like when it was open. Well, any further exploration requires me to get off my bike, and I'm not doing that. So after climbing for like miles and miles, I think we did over 1,000 feet, made it to Good Springs. Let you know a secret. It's a tourist trap. Yeah, the whole Fallout thing has really revitalized interest in mainly the saloon, and then the general store is kind of like they got a little bit of unlicensed Fallout merch. So they got some Jones, which is a cane sugar soda company that I'm familiar with. They got like a Nuka Victory flavor that I am not buying. I don't buy anything there. And then I overheard one of the people talking about the Fallout Day they do in November. How they got like 6,000 people here for like a 3-day event last November. And they're anticipating it's going to be like 10,000 this year. And that's all well and cool, but me personally, I kind of have an aversion to these types of like tourist places. The issue is, of course, that I'm part of the problem, right? I'm not stuck in traffic. I am traffic. I am one of those tourists. The main thing that stands out to me about Goodsprings is honestly just the elevation, man. There's hills everywhere, and there's nowhere that you could see Vegas from here. But at the same time, it's pretty cool. I don't know though. I don't feel like I'm in the town from the game. I think they took a lot of creative liberties. Obviously they flattened it out to make it more of a viable play space. But yeah, this whole valley though, it does feel like I'm in the game. It's just that it takes forever to get anywhere. At least it'll be downhill, hopefully, because I still have to figure out what the route to Prim is, because I'm pretty sure the only actual paved road is like I-15. So we still have to figure that out. But yeah, I guess I'll take another look at it. I snapped a few pictures on my phone. They have like a corner dedicated to the game, and it's mostly just like merchandise. Again, like official merchandise. They have an Ultimate Edition and all that jazz. But cool. It's cool to be here. Next stop on the trip, I guess, is Prim. Yeah, Goodsprings. Interesting start to the trip. Is it not crazy? It looks just like it. I mean, everything's bigger, but... For some context, the map of New Vegas was made by taking the U.S. Geologic Survey data for the region and reducing that to 1/25th scale, and then making minor adjustments to certain features, like the width of the Colorado River. The change in scale means minor vertical grades in-game are miles-long climbs in real life, which was the most confusing aspect of being here. But all the mountains were in the right places, and between Goodsprings and Boulder City, it really did feel like I had already been here. It just took significantly longer to get anywhere. Alright, wish me luck, because most of the route options we have involve this closed road. But it's the desert, so there's probably... looking at the map, there's dirt roads all over the place, so we might just be off-roading for a little bit, but there's not really any other options than the interstate. I really hope this goes somewhere, because I am flying down this road and I'd hate to have to come back down it, because they're trying to warn me over and over, but I can't read. So somewhere over there is the divide. I always figured it was just like on the other side of the mountains, which is funny. And then this is Gene, the airport where the skydivers go. Uh-oh. My nice road is going away. Man, this road is tore up. I always wonder in this situation, how does it get this bad? If it stops being used, like, I assume what happened was this was probably the main route to get to Vegas from California at some point. And then they built the interstate. And so they stopped needing this for sections of it. And so people just stopped using it. But I don't get where like all of these potholes come from. Like I've seen videos about how potholes happen, but that usually involves like traffic on it. And maybe people are like drag racing on it or whatever, but yeah, it does make it engaging for me. Playing dodge the pothole. I need both hands to do it though. But yeah, I wonder how long this road's been out of service. Because that's something I always wonder about, like the post-apocalypse. It's like, how long do the roads last? Well, I think people run out of gasoline before they'd have the ability to, you know, drag strip race 20 years after the apocalypse. They'd have to figure out how to synthesize their own gas, but this is fun. At least it's not the interstate. Whatever happens, just remember, we had fun. So, the reason for the whole no outlet thing is that this is a skydive landing zone. You can't trespass on it for some reason. Cool. All right, let's see what we can do. All right, things are getting promising. SoCal Trail Trekkers. Someone left a sticker here. This purportedly goes somewhere. The other way had more of those signs that were like, oh yeah, we'll fine you like $5,000 if you're caught trespassing, which, is that really necessary? I've been asked a couple times why I would opt for 2.2-inch thick tires on a trip like this where I'm on the road so much. And stuff like this is the answer. There's really no option. Although good to know, they tried to keep us out with a barbed wire fence from getting back onto the interstate, but it looks like Mother Nature took down the fence. So if push came to shove, we could hop back on the interstate. I would hate to do that. I don't think I'm allowed to do that. But I think the punishment for being on the interstate is less severe than a $5,000 fine for being in the skydiving area. I mean, these are the people that bitch about the end of the Wild West, and here they are, you know, ending it frivolously for no reason. I'm trying not to be negative, though. It's just, it's going to take longer to get to Prim doing this. And I don't get these gates. So we're on, most of this is Bureau of Land Management land. So I don't know why they put gates up everywhere. With some of them have like locks on them. That was a couple days ago, but some of them would have like locks on them, and I don't get what that's about. This should all be like open. Coming up on Prim. A pretty bumpy gravel road. So we're rolling up on Whiskey Pete's, which was the basis for one of the casinos in Prim. But while I was planning this trip, Whiskey Pete's went out of business. You can see the signs taken down. But yeah, we have officially arrived in Prim. So I've crashed at the casino with the roller coaster. See, I don't feel too bad about credit card touring if I'm staying somewhere that is relevant to the games. I was contemplating camping. The issue is like, this place is really weird when it comes to where you're allowed to be, where you're not allowed to be. For the West, it's really restrictive. I didn't expect this this soon into the trip. There's not a lot of great routes to Nipton that aren't the interstate, so I was hearing from yet another cyclist that I've met on the road that they do like ATV races out back. So I'm hoping I can just blend in with that crowd tomorrow. I don't know where I want to get to tomorrow. I think I have to camp tomorrow though. I have to. Today was fun. I don't feel like I got my balls kicked in like I have the previous 4 days that I've been cycling. My riding partner for the first time fell of his own accord today. I guess he's no longer invested in the trip. I think we didn't go gambling, and that's his problem. Good morning. It is day 14, and I'm out of 13, something like that. I'm out of the casino, and definitely a confusing building. But we're leaving Prim, and we're going to Nipton. So, I'm at Ivanpah Lake, which is that big lake bed that's south of Prim. And there's like a recreational motorized vehicle event going on. They're everywhere, these all-terrain vehicles. I'm gonna try to get to the dry lake bed and cross it, because the internet is very the BLM website is very unclear. It implies that you need like a permit to go out on the lake, but then like all of the signage doesn't. And I think it's because most of what they deal with is motorized vehicles. Like if I called the BLM and asked, hey, can I get a permit to go out on the lake? And they're like, sure, what are you driving? And I'm like, I'm riding a bike. They'd probably be like, why the fuck did you call us? But honestly, like my big concern right now is not getting hit by one of these like racing off-road vehicles. So that should be fun. Also, these are the divine beings. They have pictures of them here. Yeah, they're solar receivers, but from like 20 miles away, they look like one of them looked like a hole in the ground. Like there was just a hole in the mountains that light was shining through. This is actually kind of cool. Assuming I don't catch up to whatever's causing that dust storm. But no, like, this riding surface is honestly more pristine than like some of the roads I've taken. And I've got a tailwind, which is nice. You can see with the sand blowing next to me that there is a lot of wind. Hopefully it doesn't like get cloudy enough to obscure visibility, so like they, you know, I don't disappear in a cloud of dust and then get run over by like an ATV. That's like a dust devil, I think. I've only seen one dust devil in my life when I was a kid. And that's somebody that lives around lots of dust. This is so cool. You know, the dry lake beds are like some of my least favorite areas in New Vegas, but the actual dry lake bed is so freaking cool. I've seen such a variety of desert in the last 2 weeks. And it seems like it just goes on forever. I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to see it when it was wet, because it's supposed to be like really cool looking, like a big silver lake, but I am happy that I get to ride through it. I don't know if the GoPro picks it up, but there's a wind sail race about to happen. This is totally the Shimmering Flats, because that's like the big thing people do out here. They wind sail, or they do like races or what have you. The thing that gets me though is they're huge. It's massive. It goes on forever, and the game doesn't do it justice because the game has like little hills in the middle of it. I assume because of the fire ants. But honestly, there's something really impressive about this area. Because I've been riding through it for like 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. And I think I see Nipton in the distance. So I'm having a blast though. This is awesome. The surface changed, so it's a little rougher to ride on. I wonder if there's a reason that it changes. I mean, they don't like smooth out. They don't smooth out the wind sailing part, do they? I don't know though. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as like a washed out gravel road or anything like that. Like this is, I am happy right now. This is the best. This has been a fantastic experience. You know, I've been reminiscing about life. I've been thinking about my memories. I've been thinking about the Shimmering Flats from World of Warcraft. And, you know, I've been hearing like the WoW desert music playing. And it really is an incredible place. And then I remembered what Cataclysm did to the Shimmering Flats. I'm at a fork in the road though. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna keep going this direction. Nipton Road will eventually be there. And I think I see Nipton. I also think I see Nipton. I'm not sure where it is, or which one it is, I should say. I know where it is. Wow, what an experience. This has been one of my favorite moments of the trip so far. This was way better than Death Valley. And there's no tourists here. Like, if you're in a car, you don't, like, this is just like a, oh, look at that, that's cool. But like, on a bike, this has been amazing. Phenomenal. And look how good a job they did with the map. I was curious when one of these was going to show up. It's not a thing to stop you from coming in. It's just a thing for like to stop. Normally they're like for cows. I'm not sure why there's one here, but it's just to keep wildlife from wandering in. So yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the ass on the bike, but just like that, good as new. let's fetch the bike before the barbed wire tears the backpack up. And right across the road from the dry lake, Mojave National Preserve. So I get to say that I have visited Mojave. We are miles and miles from anything that's actually cool in Mojave National Preserve, but you know, you win some, you lose some. It wasn't one of the destinations. Also, it's been shot 4 times. All right, we're experiencing a gear failure. Yeah, this is tearing apart. I'm gonna switch which one the bottle's in, but we're gonna have to replace it when I'm in Vegas. Welcomes you to magical Nipton, California, established 1905. So yeah, it's 17 miles from Prim. We've made it to Nipton. Took us 2.5 hours, even with the nice lake where we were able to go fast. Look, there's a plane coming in to Harry S. Reid. Sorry. I found out that it didn't click with me. So they have renamed McCarran International to Harry S. Reid, who was a Nevada state senator for like 30 years. So anyways, we're here in Nipton, and I'm hoping the honey store is open, and I need to prepare for a very long climb. I'm contemplating cutting out Cottonwood Cove. I know I cut out Arizona. The problem is that I didn't realize Cottonwood Cove is like 600 feet above sea level, and we're like 3,000 feet above sea level. So I would have to climb back out of Cottonwood Cove. It's a big climb in the game, so I can only imagine how huge that elevation difference is in real life. And you know, I've seen Cottonwood Cove on the map. You know, it's like it's a fucking boring resort area. There's a lot of RVs there. I don't think I'm missing out on much if I just don't go there. So I think when we get to Searchlight, we're gonna go north. Maybe, I wasn't originally going to go to Nelson. Maybe we'll go to Nelson instead to make up for it. This is a brutal walk. I mean, I don't know if this tells the scale of it, but I am completely above the trees that were in Nipton. And I still have a long way to go. I'm cycling up a decent amount of it, but just gotta look forward to the downhill. Nothing bad will happen this time, right? I mean, almost every downhill I've done so far was bad, but this one will be the good one. I'm sorry for the gratuitous imagery. I know it's obscene. I thought this was going to be a lot closer to Nipton. Look how far away it is. Look how big the dry lake is. Yeah, we're truck. We're finally leaving California for the last time on this trip anyways. California was all right. People are kind of nice. Nicer than the Nevada people, but it's just something off about the state. But yeah, I'm still fucking climbing. Oh my god. At this point, I would take on the pack of death claws over climbing this goddamn mountain by foot. I can't believe that this is like the route that people are supposed to be taking in the game. That's the main thing I've thought about, is like people are in New Vegas are walking everywhere, right? Like they don't really have cars. And all the horses went extinct. And apparently there's no like mutant animal replacement for horses, even though I think they could make a Brahmin drawn carriage work. But anyways, people are walking everywhere. Like, it's just crazy. But it's a beautiful landscape. All right, I can't delay no further. I have to finish the climb and get to Searchlight. So a kind gentleman gave me 800 milliliters of water. I was probably gonna make it to Searchlight without it, but you know, I guess better safe than sorry. I would have kicked myself if I had said no. These Joshua trees, I think they're Joshua trees. I asked somebody and they said that they were, so. But these trees have gotten very large. I guess this is just the altitude. This is the altitude that they like. We're almost to the top of this hill over Searchlight, and it's 4,800 feet, which is definitely recontextualizing my trip down to Cottonwood. I mean, 600 feet of elevation at the Colorado River means that we're going to descend 4,200 feet, which, while that does sound like fun, the issue is that we're gonna have to climb back out of it. So I am definitely very much on team don't go down there, which is a shame, but you know, it's Cottonwood Cove. I don't really have much to say about it. It's a resort town on the Colorado River, you know. So yeah, we're gonna blow into Searchlight, and I'm gonna stock up on water because there's barely anywhere to stop on 95 until you get to Boulder City, and that's quite the distance. So yeah. Wow. A forest. I'm spoiled. I didn't think I'd get to see one so soon. What an incredible spot to not be able to put into New Vegas. I haven't seen, like, you know, natural trees for a long time, and it was really throwing me off. I mean, I think Joshua trees aren't actually trees. They're some other type of, like, plant, but I could forgive somebody for calling them trees if they didn't know, like, the genetics of it, right? Because this is a forest. I'm sorry, that was a semi-truck. So there's Searchlight off in the distance. Look at this landscape. There is nothing like this in the game. But it's incredible. Genuinely amazing. I'm honestly kind of amazed that this spot isn't in the game, because I'm picturing, like, this would be a beautiful place to have, like, gunfights and seeing, like, skirmishes between the NCR and the Legion, and just fighting critters in general. The wind is coming from the north, and that's going to make going north difficult. But that's the way we have to go if we want to go back to Vegas. Otherwise, we got a little conundrum. So we've just rolled into Searchlight. Gonna find a place to stop, check the weather, see how long these southbound winds go, and then make a decision on what I want to do. I'll probably eat something. You're not you when you're hungry. I might make a different choice just because I ate. All right, decision made. Here's the facts. There's a 20-mile headwind coming in my face. It's 40 miles to Boulder City, and there's nowhere to really stay here. So I'm thinking we just go into the headwind and make it as far as we can with the daylight we have, throw down camp somewhere north of here, and then in the morning roll into Boulder City. We can knock out Hoover Dam in the same day, and then maybe go to Vegas after. Just doesn't make sense to waste a couple good hours of effort just sitting around by, like, you know, calling it quits early. And yeah, okay, that is what we'll do. This is Searchlight. It's definitely not like the game. They definitely had to just use whatever assets they had, because, you know, this town's pretty unique. We had, like, I think I got like 10 miles of descent. It was a little disappointing because it, like, hits the valley bottom and then comes up a bit to come into this town. So it wasn't just like, you know, coasting down in the Searchlight like I wanted, but I still think today is a good day, in spite of the fact that I'm about to have to ride into a 20-mile-per-hour headwind. And it does not ease up until after dark. So the thought process, yes, I did think of, I could try like riding after dark, and it's not gonna happen. So, time to grind. I love stuff like this. What's a reasonable fine for someone driving cross country out here in the middle of nowhere? $5,000? $10,000? How about $100,000 fine? Oh, I'm looking for a place like this to camp. Let's see, what time is it? I'm 7.5 hours into the ride. It's almost 4:30. Sundown, it's at like 7. So we could realistically do like another 90 minutes of riding. It'd be tough, especially with the headwind. But I think I'm gonna hold out for a spot down the road. I used Street View the next one. Each time I get to one, I'm gonna try to Street View the next one to see if it's also one of these or if it's some kind of like private property, but yeah. Well, I guess this is a promising sign that we can camp. Junction US 93, 32 miles. Oh, wind cover's coming off. You get to listen to reality like how I've been listening to it. But yeah, 32 miles to Junction 93, which is round about where Boulder City is, so. I see I'm not the only cyclist to use this spot. So, we'll be hearing car noise, but that's fine. I've slept through that. We're at, oh, of course it's showing me a climb. 49.69 miles with 2,800 feet of ascent. So that highway back there that I was coming down, it's like Veterans Memorial Highway or something. It's actually like all downhill from Searchlight. The only problem is that with 20-mile-per-hour winds, it's not actually downhill. I had to pedal the whole time, but it wasn't too bad. I was averaging like 10 miles an hour, which is, you know, pretty good for riding into the wind. So I just went as far as I could, and I'm gonna camp here, and then tomorrow, there's still wind tomorrow, but it's not as bad. I should not say anything, but you know how it is. Anyways, I'm gonna find a place to hole up and sit down for a little bit before I set up the tent, just to make sure that we're all clear. Right as it vanishes, it's already starting to cool off in here. It's a little tough out here off of the, like, you know, real bike routes. I'm hoping that after Zion, when we're in like a real like bike route that people do, I'm hoping for a place that's a little friendlier. I hope this doesn't turn into a thing where I always got to check the calendar and count the dates. Don't update. Calendar must be updated. It's a fucking calendar. Morning. It's day 14. And I have awoken. Like I said, we're 30 miles south of civilization. The headwinds right now is not too bad. And yeah, I needed all the cold weather stuff last night. Didn't need it. It wasn't that bad. But yeah. That's the big solar farm Helios 1 is based on. Also, I've got like a really nice lane. People aren't passing me like a foot away, which is nice. And I passed the entering Boulder City sign, but we're still like over 20 miles away from Boulder City. I don't know what's up with that. We're going pretty fast though. They gave me real asphalt, so I'm actually going like 50 miles an hour. This is fun. So here's a map of the area I've been in the last couple days. We were in Vegas about here and came down. Good Springs is about here. Prim's probably about here. Here's the lake, dry bed lake. Came down this road. No, that's the state line. Anyways, we came through these mountains, passed through Searchlight. Camped somewhere around here, I think. And then this is what we've ridden today. We're going here, and here, and then back to Vegas. The first of possibly 2 places that's based on the 188. It all comes down to how new this is, which I think it is newer than the game. There's a overpass over there where 95 and 93 potentially meet. That's business 93, which probably means that it's the old 93 that they used to use. And I do like the no cyclists, no pedestrians. Oh, it's always practical, I guess, but it's just funny because this is basically the interstate as well, and I've been walking / riding on it for a while. I am walking up this hill. This is a really long hill, and I'm nearing my limit. I need to get lunch. Well, at least that climb's over. So this is the other overpass that the 188 could be based on. It's a lot older, so I think the 93 always went over the Hoover Dam, and the Interstate 11 is much more recent. They built a new bridge. This is a train. It's not in the game. And then there's a rail trail bridge there, but no obvious sign of how you're supposed to get up there, which is, this wasn't even marked. If I wasn't looking at the map, I wouldn't know it was there. So if you don't know, 95 going north is called the Old Spanish Trail. It's supposed to be like a thing that people go down. So the notion that like those people would get on 93 and go to Vegas instead of using this obvious mixed-use pedestrian cyclist trail is absurd, and it's silly to me that there's not like a way to get up there from where I am. I mean, there might be. I'll see where that road goes, but yeah, that was a lengthy climb. Even going downhill was kind of annoying. But yeah, Boulder City soon. Still no direct trail. I just climbed this like 12% grade to get up here, and it tells me private drive, no trespassing. And I'm just thinking, what in the goddamn? That is called a path of desire. It means that people are ignoring the no trespassing signs to get to the cycle path from that road, because obviously there's no other way to get there. Yeah, you guys probably want to fix that. I will say, despite my earlier grumbling about having difficulty getting onto the route, it is, ooh, look at that lizard. It is still quite a nice route. Double lane, paved out of asphalt. Looks like it would be fun if you lived here to ride on it semi-regularly. Drop the bombs, they're in Boulder City! So I'm here at the Hoover Dam. I'm on the eastern side. I don't see why anybody in the post-apocalypse would fight over this, merely for the reason that it was insanely difficult for me to get here. Oh my god, that road was so scary. There's a bike trail that you can take, and there was part of me that wished that I had taken it. But nevertheless, I am here. First real river I've seen since California. And here's the entrance of the dam. Didn't really record the middle because it's very populous and I don't feel like forcing anybody to be in my video. But now I gotta figure out how to get out of here. I didn't think it'd take this long. And the road's spooky as hell, so I gotta find a different way. So up there's Interstate 11. That is the road that they used to take, the 93, 95, that deal. And this is my route. This is how I was supposed to come in. I didn't know if it was real, but it is real, so this is how I get out. I guess I'm gonna stay in Boulder City tonight. I was hoping to make it to Vegas, but I don't know. We have to climb like 1,200 feet to get back to Boulder City, which is unfortunate, but Hoover Dam was cool. Very scary, but very cool. And a lot of tourists, so I didn't record too much. But yeah, let's get out of here. I like that it tells us there's a shortcut and that it's a 12.5% grade, but not how long the shortcut is. This says walk your bike, so will do. We are approaching a tunnel, an unanticipated part of this adventure. Okay, now I can see. Wow. All the views are for the cyclists and hikers. I feel bad for exposing this trail. That is a spooky drop-off. A third tunnel. And I mean, they just built this ridge here. That's crazy. The entrance to this one, though, is a shipping container. Oh, it's so spooky. Especially with the water erosion. Looks like we're out of tunnels. Well, this has been cool. Mixed feelings on whether I should have taken it coming in or not. I mean, it was a fucking pants-shittingly terrifying road. But I don't like seeing things twice, you know? No, I figured it out. I definitely don't regret going down that road, if only because I had to go through the security checkpoint and answer the questions. Now, normally, like, security wouldn't be an upside to something, but here it's just funny. They just ask you if you have a gun and if you have a drone. And I almost had both of those, but I didn't have either, so I just went through. I don't know what happens, though, if you say yes. Like, do they just take it for a little while? Do they just tell you not to, use it? All right, all right. Color me intrigued. Also, look at the lake. Oh, this makes it look so flat. It's incredible, though. It's a few hundred feet below me. I've never seen anything like this before, and I didn't think it was real. They use their drainage ditch as a recreational multi-use pathway. I have legitimately never seen a city do that. I feel like for some pretty obvious reasons, but it's just gonna, if there's gonna be one idiot who's fucking walking down it like oblivious while it's storming and he dies and then ruins it for everybody else. But like, yeah, this seems like a pretty obvious thing to do in an area where it doesn't rain a whole lot, but first time I've seen it. Boulder City is interesting with its like pedestrian and cycling infrastructure, I've noticed. Crashed in a hotel, not in Vegas, but in Boulder City. I won't say today was a bad day. There were bad elements of it. It's difficult to believe that the part where I came into Boulder City, that long downhill and then that long downhill into wind, so I had to push, and then that long uphill back into it. I can't believe that was today. 47.5 miles and 2,600 feet of ascent. Most of it's self-inflicted, to be honest. It actually would have been a very flat ride because where I started is about even with Boulder City. If I hadn't gone to the dam, I wouldn't have inflicted so much on myself, and it was a grind at the end, climbing out of it. But I think it's mostly flat to, I don't know, I'm in the dark. I think it's mostly flat, the downhill into Vegas. So, and we have a trail, an asphalt bike trail. So that'll be nice. They have a pool here. Think about using it because it's an indoor pool. Just feel like that would be fun way to decompress. We're almost done with Nevada. Hard to believe. I didn't shoot much on day 14. It was 30 miles, most of which was me making my way through the urban sprawl towards the Strip. Generally not a good idea to be trying to film on the road in a place as car-centric as Vegas. I did film my ride on the monorail though, which was cool but really expensive, and it only takes you between different casinos on the Strip. I definitely got fleeced though, but it wasn't due to gambling. Hotels near the Strip are just expensive. Vegas is an odd place. Cultural changes in America have definitely taken a lot of the allure of the city away from when it was being adapted into New Vegas. The casinos have slowly been taking away physical dealers in favor of digital tables, and if I wanted to get fucked by a computer, I could just do sports betting or slots in counties closer to where I live. It was just kind of an overall lame experience. But then again, I'm a bit of a square peg trying to cram into a round hole. I also found out here that I really hate the act of being a tourist. I should have just ridden down the Strip, taken a picture of the Strat and the Big Sphere, and then left. Day 16, just wrapping up preparations to leave now. Last minute charging. I planned for 60, which means that we are 1/4 of the way through my time allotment. On paper, it's hard because we skipped Arizona obviously, but on paper, we are 800 out of the 4,000 miles. So a little behind mileage-wise compared to date-wise. The big hope is that after Colorado, the kind of elevation will make it more easier for us to like pound out some serious mileage. The original route went down like the old Spanish trail, but there seems to be like a solar farm in the way now. And this stretch of the old Spanish trail is like a hiking trail, not necessarily conducive to riding a bike on. So I figure we'll just do 167, which is like a state highway through the mountains north of Lake Mead. Might as well, north of Lake Mead is like a destination for the video anyways, so I don't know where I'll end up tonight. I'll just do as much as I can because record heat, well, potentially record heat. Yeah, it's gonna be over 90 degrees today, Fahrenheit, the Superior System, which is pretty damn hot. Vegas is really lame. It's like, honestly, I've likened it to like adult Disneyland. And it's weird to me that there are adults who go to Disneyland, but anyways, it's just really lame. Like every casino floor is exactly the same as every other casino floor. There's a Starbucks in every casino. The activities are lame, people are lame. You know, they still think that like topless cabaret is like, you know, a show worth seeing. And it's like, you know, I'm not paying that much to watch a bunch of topless people. If you want that much money from me, they're gonna have to fuck on stage. Yeah, it's just like walking around and seeing the novelty of like what they've come up with and designed. I don't know. I feel like this is an experience you're supposed to get from like every city, right? And the only reason we don't is because we don't build beautiful things anymore. Like, why do we need a resort gimcrack to justify building something that looks interesting, right? And the novelty of it just didn't carry it for me. The pricing didn't help, but the monorail was cool, I guess. But monorails are cool no matter where you are. I rode the last 10.5 miles to the edge of the city so absentmindedly that I forgot that whole I need to buy water thing. So I'm hoping that there's a place to buy water before I am officially out of Las Vegas. As I said, it's kind of crazy that I went 10.5 miles and I'm just now on the edge of town. I wasn't seeing places to buy water, and it was getting noticeably more desert-like, the road I was going down. And I was looking ahead at the map, and it seems like there's just not any convenience stores. I'm sure there'll be one in like a mile, right? But there's water here. I mean, I gotta filter it, but I guess that's a break. I guess let's grab some water. Well, I hope it works. Smash cut to me saying it didn't work. My bike is very squeaky. I don't know if that means it needs a oil change or not. They need to relube the chain. Oh, there's more city. I told you there'd be a place in like a mile. A sick, disgusting city of filth and resort towns and hotel conglomerates that ruined it. So I'm on this like nice little sunset trail thing. Honestly, I feel like a lot of my life is just praying that the road actually goes somewhere. There's so many ways. I'll hate when I'm there, but there's so many ways in which I'm kind of looking forward to the Midwest, because that you just don't have that much anxiety because there's like always like redundant routes and stuff. I have transferred from the asphalt trail to a gravel road because this is a gravel bike and this road allegedly goes where I want to, so. I'll ask the obvious. Why the fuck are all these desert roads closed? Do not drink. This is a weir. I'm hoping that we can get across it. It's not closed off or anything. So like, the weir is open, but the dirt road is closed. Don't go down the dirt road. Dirt road is too dangerous. Cross this weir instead. I see a cyclist on the other side. I wonder if he's gonna cross it. It would be devastating to fall in this river, but I want to go that way because I want to trade out the poop water I got for like actual filtered water. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It seems a little thick and slimy on the bottom, and falling in would be devastating. So we're gonna go down the trail that way because there's supposedly a bridge across that we can take instead. Maybe the last time I get to see it. 17 miles. A little crisscrossy at the end, but it's crazy. At least this one has a way to get through it. Yeah, I was getting tired of like the asphalt, like it's like a dirt bike track, but for bikes. I guess people ride it with e-bikes or something. These gravel roads are a lot more fun, except for the random road closed signs that like I gotta carefully navigate through the side of it. At least I don't have to pick up my bike like the last one. Good news. We can swap out all our poop water. The Wetlands Park deposited me in the worst place possible, imaginable. A weird lakeside resort community. And I just had to climb my way out. And they had the only nearby grocery store, so the prices weren't too bad though. But still, the selection wasn't great, which is problematic considering I am leaving civilization. As weird as it is that this is the edge of it. This is the edge of it. We're hopping on Lake Mead Parkway. We're gonna go to 167. We're taking 167 to Mopa, something like that. It's a long road, so let's hop to it. That's unexpected. Good thing I have a pass. I don't know why Lake Mead in particular, they seem very aggressive about the Lake Mead feeds more than any other. I don't know if that's just like a huge revenue thing for them, but so I'm crashed behind a dumpster taking a break. Hoping some of my water cools off because I've been drinking hot water this entire time. Yeah, pretty brutal day. Very hot, no shade anywhere. Very soft wind, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I'd rather not be dealing with a headwind, but wind can like help with chilling out. I was hoping that there would be some place with shade that I could stop for like 2 hours and then I could make up those riding hours later, like when it gets close to dark and it cools off. But who knows? We've got a long road ahead of us to Utah, that's all I'm gonna say. This area is all right in terms of beauty. You can see Lake Mead sometimes, but like that's a butte. I think it's a butte or a mesa, something, But it's kind of hard to enjoy it when it's so hot. Not its fault, just, commentary. And then I get into this idea of like, it would have been hot tomorrow, but I could have left yesterday and it would be under 90 degrees. Oh well. And if nobody's asked yet, but if anybody does, I will say yes to rides. I will say yes to rides and water. Maybe not very long. I might take if somebody offered me a ride, I'd be like, yeah, we can go like 5 miles, right? I wouldn't like get a ride to the next town or anything like that because that's really far away. But just little shortcuts like that, at this point, I'd be willing to accept it. My honor's compromised. But water is a definite yes, if it ever gets offered. Well, at least we got the first sign of civilization out here. This is one of several of these types of places that exist along the way. Yeah, at least I'm not, spinning my tires going nowhere. This heat really beats down the mood. So I need these little wins like this. 44 miles to civilization. I did sit in the shade of one of the signs for an hour, and I'm gonna try to ride after dark if I can. These red rocks tell me we're getting close to Utah. No, I'm just kidding. We're still like 40 plus miles away. All right, disabled spaces. Can someone tell me why they lead straight to an express elevator for a wheelchair person to go to hell? What's going on there? No, I get it based on how the parking lot's laid out. It's just, they could have put the disabled spaces over there, or they could have put something up where it's less like a fucking ramp to hell. I don't know. I've never seen like reserved parking for disabled people on like a random pullout. I mean, it's nice to look at, but we're 8.5 hours in. It's about an hour to sundown, so I think I'll sit here until that happens and wait for it to be cool. I'll probably need to eat something though. I'm feeling kind of like I have a headache, so I wish there was a better route through this part of the world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 helicopters so far. Yes, it's after dark. As long as it's not cold, I'm gonna keep trying to go. We are 43.5 miles, and we're on an uphill, 1.5 miles, 300 feet. So we'll be at it a while, but hopefully I'll be happy tomorrow I did it. Honestly, I just want to taste like mildly cold water again. That's a big rock. At least I got to see it. We're in real dark hours because the GoPro has gone to dark mode. I'm so thirsty because I only drink like one mouthful at a time because it's just awful hot water. Oh. I can still see lights from Vegas. I think that's Vegas. I have no clue anymore. I can't believe that we were at those mountains though. It feels a lot better when you're able to just coast in the cool air. This is actually, other than the pavement princesses back there, this is actually kind of a vibe. I think it was worth suffering through the heat if it means that we get to like be here now when it's cool in the evening. Because if it was nice, during the day, then it would be cold now and I'd be huddled in a tent freezing. But this feels really nice. I hope that like it being super cold doesn't sneak up on me, but according to the forecast it shouldn't. So I might actually have a lot of fun, assuming there's no more like massive hills, massive like 2-mile long climbs, because that's kind of a damper on the mood. Is there any direction these guys aren't coming from? Hang on, let me test this. Ooh, not great. Well, I guess we're in voiceover hours. I turned the front light on, as a bit of meta, I turn the front light on when I'm riding. I have the rear light on at all times. Oop. Oh no. It's weird that people pass me and I look back and I see their like lights way off in the distance like minutes later. So, I got passed by a pavement princess. He slows down next to me and then like speeds way up so that his exhaust gets like shot in my face. And then people ask why I don't like cars and truck drivers. Oh, hang on. There's an odd blue light here. I wonder what this is about. Some type of turn off. Emergency. Huh. I guess in the event that you get trapped out here, you could call for help. I get if you're in my situation, except you didn't have 3.5 liters of water. I guess that's who this is for. I mean, good amenity. I can't tell if damn it, I just messed up my video. I can't tell if the GoPro can pick it up. Let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Bitter Springs is real. Honestly, I thought Bitter Springs was just like the generic name they came up with for like one of the cove towns on this road. I didn't realize there was an actual Bitter Springs. Also, we hit 50 miles. It's, I think, about 30 more miles to the next town. So if we can do like 20, 25, that'd be great. I think there's actually campgrounds that far in. There's also on the left side here, somewhere, a spring that's supposed to, that had some like really good pictures on Google. So gotta look out for that too. Why does it matter? Who gives a shit if someone camps here? Who actually gives a shit? Why is the National Park Service like this? Not that I'm like dying because I can't camp here, but like it's the dumbest fucking thing. It's a picnic area in the middle of the night. Who gives a shit if someone pitches a tent here? Like legitimately. Sorry, I'm a little upset because I'm doing a climb. So I was picked up about mile 57. A nice lady stopped and asked me if I needed a ride. And I had said that like I would accept help if I was offered it in this situation, so I said yes. She took me to, she was conveniently going to Echo Bay, which is where I wanted to go. And she stays at the RV park, so I am camping in the shadow of her setup. And, oh, what is this? I'm so ominous. I'm camping in the shadow of her setup, and it was about a 6-mile ride over here. Don't worry, I gotta pay for it with the climb out in the morning, but yeah, kind of nice actually. Yeah, I like it. It was the very first person to offer me any kind of help today, which I think was odd, but so yeah, we went 63 miles, I think. Let me check. 3,500 feet of ascent. So it's like I climbed a mountain. I was just staggered over all of these like rolling hills. But yeah, there's not a lot of great routes through this part of the world. It was hot during the day. It felt nice in the evening though. It felt really nice. I'd say that was a good day. I made the best of it anyways, given the adverse circumstances. It's another one of those things where it's crazy to me that the Wetlands Park was today as well. Like, what? Anyways, see you in the morning. Good morning. Well, this locale is pretty unfamiliar. If we turn around, there's Lake Mead. Now, supposedly, there's a convenience store down there. The only problem with going down there is that I will have to come back up here to access it. And I already have to go up to get out of the place that I'm at. So, I think I'll wait. I still have enough water to make it to like Overton, and I can, you know, resupply there. I think we're 17 miles from civilization. I just want to be out of this part of the world. I hope Utah is a little better in terms of like cycling accessibility, like just in terms of like routes and stuff, and frequency of amenities would be another big one that I'd like to see improved. This route should go along the lake. I don't care if there are washes, just build bridges over the washes. There's no reason that I should be climbing through the foothills of Wyoming to go on a road that's supposed to be North Shore. I just hate the climbing. 20 miles to Overton, 20 miles to civilization. And I can already see a climb. It's gonna be a day. So, this is a desert spring. There's a little explanation here of how they work. It says the water's around 80 degrees all year. So, I guess my hope for cool water isn't gonna be, you know, met. It says you can, if you treat it, you can drink it, but why take the risk? So, that's where it comes from. That's cool. Oh, it's nice in here. I think the problem is that, like, if I lay here for a bit and, like, hang out, then the fucking heat's gonna sneak up on me. It's supposed to be even hotter today than it was yesterday. So I'm trying to get to town before that happens. I don't know what the plan is after town, to be honest. There's no real end in sight for when this like heat is supposed to end. And I'm guessing it's not. I'm guessing this is the normal for them, and the cold was the unusual thing that happened. There's supposedly a spring here as well, but I don't see it. But those red rocks sure are ominous. All right, civilization seems to be downhill from me. This is just depressing. Even this small town has like pedestrian crossing and dedicated bike infrastructure. Oh, that's just sad. So I'm here at the library. Weirdly, this is like one of the first I've seen, and it's in this small Nevada town, but whatever. Crashed here for like a couple hours during the peak of the daylight sun. Given the heat and the whole water situation, I think it would be prudent to take the I-15. I know. You can, actually, surprisingly, in this part of the world, because there's no other route. There used to be one called 91, but I think it's the typical story. The interstate came along, ate the 91 is part of one of the lanes, and so there's like a vestigial element of it still in Mesquite, which is the next town, but we got to go like 50 miles or something to get there, so that's fun, but it's the only option, so we're waiting until it cools down and then we will go. Some pretty imposing mountains ahead. But the I-15 should be before that. Yeah. I have a sandwich though, which I'm gonna be eating throughout the night to try to keep my energy up. I don't know if I'll make it to Mesquite, but it's worth a try. This area is like a little slice of the Midwest. It's flat, it's green, there's trees, which is blowing me away. But what throws me off is the buildings are flat. Like, they don't have very sloped roofs because it rains less than 8 inches here, right? It's the desert. It's green because there's lots of water flowing through it, but it's still the desert. And so there's churches with a flat roof. I've never seen a church with a flat roof in the Midwest because it rains. So just little things that I notice that throw me off. I'm telling you, they hate cyclists. Now, what is this? Bike lane begin? Where's it go? I want to know where it goes because this is the edge of civilization. It's 3 miles to Interstate 15. So I don't know why there's suddenly a bike lane here of all places. They could have financed it anywhere. Put it in the town. The town is what needs it. It is a valley. "28 miles. Seems doable. Quite the view. It's weird because the interstate actually has a lot of beautiful views that like most cyclists will never get to see. That's what I like to see. Flat. I'd hate to say it, but I think I might be a road tourist. I actually kind of enjoyed riding on the I-15, and well, it was flat, it was noisy, so I just listened to my wireless earbuds, but I got here. Like, I don't think this has ever happened before. I don't think I've ever like pointed at a place on the map and said, I'm gonna be there tonight, and then got there. I'm camping right outside of the town. It's a pretty open area, quiet, it's bedtime. Yeah, I think I'm happy. Day whatever, we are near Mesquite, which means that we're almost to the border of Arizona. I'm filming B-roll and I suddenly get this like song in my head of like lame indie guitar with a guy in the background going, "So alone." You know, you could barely comprehend what he's saying. It's that weird like pseudo country drawl. Anyways, B-roll. It's just so jarring. I haven't seen rivers for so long, and now I'm like seeing tons of them. Can't seem to get away from it. The Virgin River. First time this has happened. I've had other types of like sugary fruit snacks in there, but I guess the dry bag oven is a little too hot for the gummy bears because I'm still gonna try to eat it. Oh, nice. Campground. Oh, 26 miles. There's the I-15. Look at those losers enjoying their flat road when they could be over here on Mr. Bones roller coaster. So I'm in Bunkerville, and it actually has a pretty nice like cycling bike lane here. I mean, it's all right. It's made of concrete, so it's gonna have issues, but like with it'll buckle under the sun and what have you. Well, maybe not if it doesn't rain a lot. I don't know, but it's not very fun to ride on, at least compared to like an asphalt. But at the same time, like it's infrastructure, it exists. That's better than like most of America. I think we're still in Clark County, so like the unifying theory I have is that Vegas just makes so much money that like the people who live 100 miles away from Vegas are able to live nicer lives than like most people in the country, like in terms of actually having amenities. I don't know if this route actually goes anywhere. That's one of the things I like to judge routes on. Like, can the people who live on this road who benefit from this existing actually go get their groceries by bike? Who knows? All right, ate a mesquite, stocked up a bit at the grocery store. Now we're off. So we take from Mesquite, we're gonna hop on Route 91 off of the I-15, because the I-15, so there's this thing called the Utah Hill that we have to climb today. And the I-15 goes around the Utah Hill, but it does that by going over the Virgin River Gorge. And supposedly there's like 7 bridges across the gorge with like no shoulder or anything like that, which sounds scary as hell. So the choice presented is you can have the scariest road riding experience of your life, or you can have a 3,500 foot hill but it goes downhill into Santa Clara, which is next to St. George. So, you know, upsides and downsides, you know? Sure, it's gonna be 100 degrees. Also, I bought sunscreen, SPF 70, but it's a spray because I wasn't sunscreening my legs enough because it's just so much surface area to cover. And being able to spray it on my legs is gonna be a big game changer. So yeah, let's go endure 100-degree weather. I was hoping that there'd be a library on the way. Unfortunately, the library, because library strat is strong, but the library's in this town and it's 10 a.m. so it's too early for that. I'd be in the library for like 8 hours. And the next library is in St. George, so no library strat today. There's little towns along the way. Maybe we can stop somewhere in those, but I'm not holding out hope. So yeah, let's get the show on the road. So, update. I met a couple cyclists who are planning on doing the Great Divide, and they offered to let me stay in their, they have a second house that they use for their business, so they offered to let me stay in it. Because tomorrow, the heat breaks, and so I had to say yes. And they're thinking about becoming Warm Showers hosts, so I guess I'm like test piloting their setup for them. This is a nice twist for the day. I guess after a couple days of very rarely kind of talking to people or getting offered help, this is a welcome switch up. Glad I don't have to do that hill today though. Yeah, this is a welcome switch up. Interestingly, too, they're doing the Great Divide, but they're doing northbound, and I've always wanted to hear about people doing northbound because everybody does southbound. I really appreciated that. That was a very nice thing. I'm not the most social person, but I talked with them a lot. But they very kindly hosted me during a 100-degree day. It's gonna be only 90 degrees today because it is cloudy right now. And we are taking 91 over a place that's infamous, Utah Hill. 3,500 feet of climbing over like 24 miles. It's going to be the longest continuous climb of the trip so far, but it's 41 miles to St. George, which means it's 41 miles to my day off. I was talking with one of them who's going to be doing the Great Divide. He's doing northbound, which is cool. And so we talked a lot about gear, experiences. I got to tell stories about what all I've been up to. They were very generous. They gave me food, water, a place to stay. Very nice experience. Not the sort of thing I expected. This is kind of off the beaten path of where cyclists are typically going. I didn't think I would experience something like that until after Zion. I may have survived the Mojave, but many more miles still lie ahead. And while it is hot in Nevada now, an uncharacteristic chill for this time of year is descending upon the mountains. will I be able to conquer Utah with its many challenging parks such as Zion, Bryce Canyon, and Grand Staircase Escalante. Thanks for watching. The charity drive continues, so as always, donations are appreciated, as are algorithm juice such as